You're on top of affairs in relation to matters having to do with the nation in relation specifically to politics. My name is Umar Rusanda Amadou. I usually do this with Bernard Koku-Avle, but he, as the man who started the anti-Galamsey campaign on City TV and City FM, is currently engaging in a Galamsey activity somewhere. So I have instead with me the man who sees the president every day, talks to the president every day, works with the president, reports on the president. Sami Biafi is our correspondent at the president. Sami, how is it going?
God is good.
It's been a busy political week, hasn't it?
Very. It comes on the back of Assin North.
Yeah.
Right after that, the NPP had to also initiate or more or less continue with the internal process. This week, they started with the vetting of the aspirants. 10 done by the vetting committee. Expected to present as a report on the 10th of July. And then the National Executive Committee, National Council will take it up and then balloting for the rest for the much awaited August 26th.
Super delegate.
To take place, yeah.
Indeed, and that is one of the key issues we are looking at. Of course, we'll talk about Assin North briefly as we introduce. He's been sworn in, the new guy. He's back in Parliament as Member of Parliament for Assin North. He's in court. MPs decided to work. We'll talk to you about that. But we will do that shortly after this quick break. Well, this is a Citiuation room. We are happy that you joined us. It's exciting every week to come through to your homes and through your mobile devices where you watch the analysis that we do for you. Today, our focus is on the New Patriotic Party. But before then, there was a crucial by-election in Assin North last week, Tuesday. The verdict is out. There's a new Member of Parliament, except that he's the same Member of Parliament. He has been to Parliament, James Jachikwesin. He has been sworn into office by the Speaker, the Honorable Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin. So the people of Assin North have a new MP who is the same old MP, except that there are a few things happening in the courts. Sami?
Today, you know, his issue of the daily hearing of the matter, it continued today. Proceeding in Parliament came to a bit of a halt because all the minority members of Parliament decided to follow James Jachikwesin to the courts, where his daily trial has begun. It affected proceedings in Parliament for a while, until they came back, and then everything continued. So there are a lot of questions many have asked, is that, does it mean that every day when Honorable Jachikwesin is going to court, parliamentary and democratic proceedings will come to a halt in Parliament because the minority MPs are showing solidarity? That's the question a lot of people ask. And for how long? If the trial will travel, let's say, 3 months, 4 months, 5, or even a year, does it mean every day Parliament will not do what is expected to do by the Constitution and the people who voted for these members of Parliament? Questions a lot of people are asking.
I think there's already an answer. Kezela Toforsin, MP for Jumako Enyane CM, who is minority leader, has said, he did not mince words. He said that anytime James Jachikwesin is going to court, they are going to follow him to go and support, so they won't come. Now, the tricky thing is that he, Atoforsin himself, is also standing trial, a criminal trial. So today what happened is that both James Jachikwesin and Kezela Toforsin have cases in court. So your leader has an issue in court. You want to stay? Everybody is following. I don't know. What I don't know is whether they all went to the court premises in their, 137. All of them that, we are here for Atoforsin. Or they simply will not show up in the chamber because they are supporting their leader and their colleague. It's going to be a bit tricky because, you see, the government needs everybody in the chamber to do a lot of business. The government doesn't have numbers in the House of Parliament. So you have a hung Parliament working currently. Now, what happens? If the government needs to work with the House of Parliament, then it has to make some concessions. So I believe what the minority group is doing is, let's hold the government and insist that if you don't give us freedom, if they said a child who does not let the mother sleep will also not sleep. So for them, the government is not letting their leader work, is not letting their colleague work, is prosecuting them in court. if that's the case, we'll also not show up to help you do business. And Parliament is crucial for everything.
Of course.
In fact, if Parliament doesn't approve anything, nothing happens. The budget will go, and budget is coming up, and all of these.
The media, I think this month is going to have
exactly. So it's actually they are having for them, the minority, they are really having a field day. But we wait to see how far this is going to go. This will not be the first time someone in Parliament is going to court. We have seen that Muhammad Yarga has been going. But did they solidarize with him at the time? Did they solidarize with other MPs who were standing trial? When NPP had Adamu Dramani Sakande going to court, did they refuse to sit? At the time, NDC was in power. Did they refuse to sit? Did they say we are going to support Adamu Dramani Sakande in court? So these are a lot of issues that we should just consider as we move forward. Very well. This is the Situation Room on City TV. My name is Omar Sandamado, and I'm doing this with Sami Wiafi. Let's go to the New Patriotic Party offices now. The old office at Kokomlemle, which has been a subject of lots of visitations, and that's because the party has started vetting its presidential aspirants. And before the vetting happened, there was a committee that was set up. And Sami, you're going to talk to me about the committee. Who and who are in that committee? It's called the Ironokwe Committee, Michael Committee. But tell us more about this vetting committee.
Per the NPP Constitution, Article 9F talks about, or Article 9 talks about the entire composition of various committees within the NPP. So that's where you find the Research and Elections Committee, you find the Finance Committee, you find all other committees. So this is specifically the vetting committee of the NPP. Now, per the constitution of the NPP, this committee, which is the vetting committee, has a mandate to examine and vet candidates who seek to lead the NPP as presidential aspirants. So per the NPP Constitution, with your permission, I'll quote, it says, the vetting committee shall examine and vet the candidature of every aspirant for the presidential nomination of the party to ensure that such a person qualifies to contest for the highest office of the land, which is the President of the Republic. 2, it says the vetting committee shall consist of 5 chairpersons of other standing committees of the National Council. That's when I talk about the Finance Committee, the Research Committee, and the rest. And it says there must be an appointment by the National Council for others to join in this particular committee. So when we display, I'll show you those who were appointed by the National Council to join the vetting committee of the NPP. Now, this particular committee had their task simple. Look out for these specific things according to the party constitution and vet the individuals according to those lines. So first of all, Article 12 talks about the election of a presidential candidate. And the vetting committee is supposed to look out for 1, the person must be a known and an active member of the NPP.
Okay.
You can't go and bring a stranger to come and be a presidential aspirant of your political party. And that person must be a member of the party for at least 5 years running. It says the person also must come with good character. Good character meaning you all know what a good character is, yes. And it says the person must be a paid-up member of the party and has also paid the prescribed amount set by the National Council for filing to be a presidential candidate.
Okay.
It also talks about the person must be qualified enough to be a member of parliament before aspiring to be the presidential candidates of the NPP. So when the committee meets these individuals, they go by these things. And then there are other questions they ask. So for instance, you have the chairman of the finance committee of the party being a member of this vetting committee. Now, what a job of the chairman of the finance committee, Mr. Secretary, is supposed to be that you are supposed to ask the person how resourceful the person is. Politics is about money. So you need an individual who will be very well resourceful in order to seek funding for the party when the party is in election mode. They don't wish to go and have an individual. Even though the party will back those individuals or that individual who is elected,
you must have personal.
You must also have your personal connections to raise funds for the party. So that is the job of the chairman of the finance committee. The chairman of the organizational committee, which is Mr. Lokome, who happens to be the director of operations of the premises, is also supposed to ask the aspirant how can you mobilize people, because politics is about numbers.
And he's a former organizer.
He's a former organizer of the party. So if you need to lead the NPP as a political party, you must be in the position to be able to mobilize people and get the numbers to follow the party and you as the individual, so you can lead or even win the political power for this particular party. So that's the job of the organizational committee, which is headed by Mr. Lokome. This committee is made up of 6 people.
Okay.
Professor Michael.
So we'll talk about the individuals, but this will not be the first time the party is going through vetting.
No.
The vetting process would have been many years ago. Every time you're going for the presidential primaries, you have to do the vetting. 2007, they went through vetting, all 17 of them okayed. Is there a possibility that these 10 people who went, so let me just say that it was 11 people who picked nomination forms, but 10 returned their forms, so 10 have successfully filed. Is there a possibility that the vetting committee can disqualify these people?
There's a possibility per the documents you present and per the, this is more or less like an interview. So if you're able to impress those doing the interview, or you don't impress them, they're supposed to come out with a report. And in their report, they can recommend to the National Council, which is the second highest decision-making body of the party, that this particular gentleman did not meet the standard. And so we recommend that you disqualify this particular individual. This committee has the power to do that. But then they will recommend to the National Council. So the National Council will take that decision. So if the committee recommends that disqualify this individual, and the National Council finds it that no, there's no way we should disqualify him, the National Council can overturn the decision of this vetting committee, and the National Council can ask this particular individual to go through. So the decision to disqualify or to go through rests with the National Council of the NPP. And the committee has the power to do that. And in all 10 of them, per conversation with the members of the committee, they find these individuals very qualified enough to lead the NPP. And so from where we sit, we do not see any disqualification as far as these 10 individuals are concerned, Sandra.
But I mean, what it also means is that we must and will have a super delegates conference.
Definitely, that is going to happen.
The conditions for that has been met then, hasn't it?
It's been met. The party decided to bring this particular super delegates conference on the back of what happened in 2007. You remember 7 ministers, press secretaries and the likes, ambassadors, all wanted to take over from former President Kufuor, who was leaving the scene. 17 of them decided to show up in a beauty contest at the Great Hall of the University of Ghana in Lagos.
At
the University of Ghana in Lagos.
The Great Hall.
The Great Hall. One individual was elected. That's Daniel Dodonko Akufo-Addo. After that particular election of 2008, when the NPP lost, the party held a national delegates conference at the Trade Fair Center in 2009 with the theme restructure, recapture, and rebuild.
I remember that.
So in that particular conference, the party decided to amend its constitution and put in a ceiling that in the event that there's more than 5 candidates who want to lead the party in future, there's a special delegates conference that will cut down the number to 5. The test of this particular clause happened in 2014 when 7 people decided to contest for the 2016 election. So we had, after that particular election, 5 people went through: Daniel Akufo-Addo, Alan Chomantini, Adai Nimo, Joe Garte, and then Kofi Osei Ameya. These 5 individuals went through. That was the first time the NPP...
So 2 people were weeded out.
So that was the first time the NPP tested that particular clause in the constitution. They're going to test it again in August 26, where they'll cut down the number to 5.
So 10 people running.
10 people.
And the party is going to have the job of pruning down. And this will be the party base, the smaller...
The party base.
They call them the super delegate, 900 plus.
900 people.
About 1,000 people.
Yeah, roughly.
I have a personal view against that. So, I mean, I think that if the people want to lead your party, and the New Patriotic Party is a mass party.
Yeah.
I want to be a flag bearer of the party. I cannot bribe, 300,000 people?
200,000
people. I cannot bribe them, but I'm popular with them. They are the ones I can believe would vote for me. Why do I have to subject myself to 900 people when ultimately I'll be chosen by 200,000 people? What if I'm popular amongst the 200,000 people, but I'm not popular amongst the 900 people because it's a smaller electoral college? Maybe it is who you know. Maybe they don't know me. Maybe I have not dealt with them. Maybe they don't like my politics. Maybe they don't like my behavior. But the party base likes me. What about that? Again, when you go for the Super Delegate Congress, your idea is that you're going to prune down from 10 to 5. All right. We can have a long ballot paper. In the year 2000, our national election had a very long ballot paper. There's nothing wrong with having a ballot paper that has 10 names on it. Let the people in September or October decide that from A to Z, this is the person I'm choosing. at the end of the day, ballots would be sorted and they'll be counted, and then we have a winner. I don't see why we have to go through a first step of 900 people. I believe that 900 can be bribed. I'm not saying they will be bribed. I'm just saying that 900 can be bribed or can be influenced by a few people based on their relationship with them, based on their history, based on their connection, based on the fact that they work together or they don't work together. Because these are what? The 900 people are what? Members of parliament.
Members of parliament.
137. We have
quickly, let me get
regional executives. We have national executives. And then I think the constituency, a few people are going to be chosen from that side. And then the council of elders, the senior members of the party or the foundation members of the party. These are, you can call them the deepest blue people in the New Patriotic Party, the original blue. So that's why they've been chosen. They are a privileged few. But I do not think that we should subject ourselves to that. I think, first of all, it's a waste of waste of money, because if you're going to do 2 congresses to determine one person, what's the point? Just do 1 congress, let all of them vote, let the person be decided. Because I don't, honestly, and I've still not been convinced, how do you see that there was acrimony in 2007 because you had 17 people, all of them on the ballot? So this time around, you want to stop the acrimony, so you're going to stop 10 people from being on the ballot. What about the 5 people who are going to be removed? What if they feel disgranted? I honestly have a challenge with that. I know in America they have the caucuses system where you get some endorsements. Maybe we should do that. Let's say to each of the candidates that go to the party base, go and get an endorsement. The one with the highest number of endorsements from the party base, out of those, maybe the top 5 can be elected. But to say that you have chosen a college of 900 people, and out of these 900 people, let them come and vote and choose one person. All right, what happens if after August 26, one person gets 99.9% or gets 100% of the votes? Do we still have to go through the process of going to have a second?
I'm not sure or anybody can get 100%.
You'll be surprised. Did you think that we're going to have a hung parliament in 2020?
We never thought, but this is an internal election.
Did you think
if you want to show your popularity,
that NPP sacked is now going to be the deputy speaker of parliament?
You mentioned popularity, Sandra. If you are popular within 200,000 people, you should be popular among 900 people.
No. Maybe
there's a possibility.
900
so if you are popular with 200,000 people, at least you should be a bit more popular among just 900 people.
No.
Show popularity in there. But then quickly,
imagine this guy, the guy who was a transport officer at the presidency who wanted to also run. What's his name? He had a nice billboard with round glasses.
They normally call him C2 because they say he looks like President Akufo-Addo.
He withdrew, right? What if that guy is popular with the party base but not popular with the privileged few?
But Sandra, these individuals going to vote on August 26th are I would say the leadership when it comes to the grassroots. So you have the all constituency chairpersons in there, 275, the regional executives and the likes. Now, if you go to
constituency level, is just the chairpersons.
Yeah, the chairperson, and then the all regional executives, all NPP members of parliament. That's 137. We have all representatives or regional representatives to the National Council. That's 60 in number. The National Council, 30 in number. Founding members or founding fathers, 123 in number. Representative from the Women's Wing, 3 in number. Rep from the Youth Wing, 3 in number. Rep from the Nasara Group, 3 in number. And then 3 reps from each of the 25 international branches, making it 75 in number. And then some other officers.
So, Sammy, the idea is that they are going to ensure that there's no acrimony. But I don't get it. The 5 people that are going to be on the ballot finally, there can still be acrimony. Because believe it or not, it is the top 2 people who really cause a problem, if there's going to be even a problem. In 2007, after Akufo-Addo was chosen, we had an Alan Chemantin camp and we had an Akufo-Addo camp. Whether you believe it or not, we've had that camp up to now. The Alan camp is extended all the way to Kufuor. People called it the Kufuor camp and the Alan camp. Even currently, if you look at the party, we have that playing out. Now, then that acrimony has not been really solved.
It hasn't been.
And now that Akufo-Addo is leaving, Alan is still in the race.
Yeah.
I don't know if Bawumia has been given the tag Nana Akufo-Addo camp or not. But if he's not given, then it's going to be a Bawumia camp and then an Alan camp, which by extension is a Kufuor camp. Bawumia has told us that he's a Kufuor person. Kufuor is the one who first appointed him and all of that. How are you going to play this out? There's still going to be division, and that division is going to be very, very, very strict. And I expect that to happen. So for me, I honestly have a challenge, and I mean, that's my personal view. The party has decided, but I have the view to share. In the US, they do the caucuses. in Ghana, they want to do that. But because Johnson Asiedu Nketia, General Secretary at the time of the NDC, called your contestants 17 thieves, does not mean you should be worried. Don't be worried. If 17 people are contesting, NPP says they are the best party in terms of democracy in Ghana. So show that, we are a very democratic party. That's why when we open it up, everybody...
But then the counter-argument many people who believe in this particular special delegate congress make is that if you look at 900 people, spending resources on just 900 people and 10 aspirants is a bit cheaper compared to spending resources on 10 people for 200,000 people. Let me break it down. So 900 people and 10 aspirants. The party says it will spend less in terms of mobilizing an organization because this 900 people will meet at only one place and then do the voting and the likes. But for the 200,000, it's going to be done at the lower level. So starting from the polling station, every constituency will meet at a particular place where the voting will take place. So assuming you have 10 people contesting in the bigger election, the resources you will spend for that particular election, where 10 people are contesting with 200,000 electorates, is more compared to spending on only 5 people with 200,000 people.
But these people have paid. How much have they paid as filing fee? Plenty of money.
Of course, but the party says this is the same amount of money is used for other things, not only with the organization of the election,
save money,
but other things.
I mean, if you want to listen, you want to marry. Some people want to do the thing they do on Thursday, the engagement. Then they go and do wedding on Saturday in the church, and then they go and do.
And then Sunday Thanksgiving.
Then someone says, "Listen, I don't want to cut costs. So in order to cut costs, I'm doing my wedding on Friday. Everybody will do it on Friday. Simple. One ceremony will go on. But you will say you want to save costs, and yet you are doing staggered delegate congress. NDC, what did they do? NDC decided to choose a flag bearer and parliamentary candidate on the same day.
The NPP decided to do same until there was some disagreement and the party decided to split it. Elect the presidential candidate first before the parliamentary. If you know, on Tuesday, on the 11th, the party will open nomination for orphan constituencies, person who seeks to lead the party in the various constituencies, where they call it orphan constituency, because NPP does not have a certain member of parliament in that particular area. So the decision was to do both presidential and parliamentary election together until there were disagreements when the party decided to split it.
You know what we'll do? We'll take a quick break. This is Situation Room on City TV. Charles Osu is a man from the City Newsroom who has been going to the NPP headquarters, and he has been covering for us the vetting, and he'll be joining us shortly to tell us who has said there. Plus, we'll give you a blow-by-blow account of the profiles of the people who are on this vetting committee. So stay with us. This is Situation Room on City TV.
Is the neighborhood I'm having my twins.
The very reason why I took it for us. See, the price is very good and it's spacious to contain all of us.
Alphabet City. Now I'm a landlord. I don't pay rent. And my Airbnb business is booming.
To me, Pamini, bank and I'm not saying Alphabet City. The pension pay me 20%. The payment plan, I want to share my man. Just say, very smooth.
This is a healthy place to raise our families and creating peace. Come on, be my neighbor.
Alphabet City, the ABC of Home Sweet Home.
Alphabet City is a classy and peaceful gated community in Sakumono. We have 24/7 top-notch security and high-quality access roads. We have 3 bedrooms and 2 washrooms, 3 bedrooms and 3 washrooms with boys' quarters. We have 3 bedrooms and 4 washrooms. We have 2 bedrooms and 2 washrooms, all with beautiful kitchens and kitchenettes. Call Alphabet City on 0240-111119 or 050-44-99999. Alphabet City, the ABC of Home Sweet Home.
You're welcome back. This Situation Room on City TV. My name is Omar Sandam, and I'm doing this with Sami Uyafi, who's joined me for an analysis of the big political stories of the week. And we are focused, Sami Uyafi, on the vetting of the new Patriotic Party. It's been happening all week. So you're going to walk us through who are on the vetting committee before we bring in Charles to come and tell us who went on which day and what they said. So take us through.
All right, Sandra. So as I mentioned earlier, the creation of the vetting committee is the creation of the party's constitution. And it talks about who and who are supposed to be on this particular committee. So the first one is Professor Michael Okwe. He's a former member of parliament for the Dome Kwabinya constituency, former Speaker of Parliament, known in the NPP circles as the Apparatchik, as they call him. In 2007, he was part of the 17 aspirants who contested in the Legon Congress. So he's the chairperson of this particular committee.
And a reverend minister, isn't he?
And a reverend minister.
A man who was celebrated today in the House of Parliament as having been part of the blessings for the anti-LGBTQ bill.
Most deaf. And then there's Hackman Owusu-Agyemang.
Okay.
Hackman also contested in 2007. He was one of the ministers in the Kufuor administration, a member of parliament for, I think, Assin North or South.
And he was minister for Works and Housing.
And at a point, Foreign Affairs. Yeah, before Nana Akufo-Addo came. So
and is remembered as owning a certain house that's very crucial for the new Patriotic Party around the Electoral Commission.
So he's the chairman of the National Council of the NPP. He's also
he took over from who was chairman of the council?
CK. The late CK.
So he's
Tedem.
taking over from CK.
So he took over from CK Tedem.
So when you talk about the elders of the party, the council, the chair is him.
It's him.
It's him. Mike Okwe, former speaker. Yeah. But he's chairing this vetting.
He's just chairing this committee.
Okay, next person.
And then that's the Minister for Roads and Highways, Kwesiam Wakwata.
And he's for
Etiwa East. Yeah. He's in here because he's the chairman of the disciplinary committee of the NPP.
Okay.
It's one of the standing committees within the party, a creation of the party's constitution. So he's in there as the chairperson of the disciplinary committee of the NPP. And then Obi Amwa is the member of parliament for the Ekuapem South constituency, deputy minister for local government and rural development.
He used to be class president
sorry, he's not a minister of state. Sorry,
Sandra. At the Ministry of Local Government.
He's not a minister of state.
He has been at the Ministry of Sports. He was a deputy minister of sports under John Kufuor during the CAN 2008.
At a point, they called him senior prefect for deputy ministers.
I mean, so he recently just got promoted to be Minister of State at the President.
Definitely.
So his title in the party is what, or his role in the party is what?
So he's the chairman of the research committee of the NPP.
Okay.
That's why he's in this particular committee.
Different from the Directorate of Research, which
yes. So this is a committee, and then there's a directorate headed by Evans Nimakun.
Okay.
And then that's Frank Davis. He's the chairman of the legal committee of the NPP.
He's Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the Ghana Bar Association, isn't he?
Yeah. So that's Frank Davis in there.
So chairman of the legal committee.
The chairman of the legal committee of the NPP.
Okay.
And then you have Madam Adeline Ashewa. She was nominated to be a member of the committee by the National Council. So if you read the party's constitution, the National Council has the power to nominate individuals to be part of the vetting committee. So she came as through nomination. So she's a member of the committee.
Okay.
And then you have the chairman of the finance committee. That's Mr. Stephen Abankwa Seche. He's the chairman of the finance committee of the NPP.
Abankwa
Seche.
Is it the one who was the treasurer of the party?
No, Abankwa is not that one. That is Kwabena Abankwa.
Okay.
But this one is Abankwa Seche. So he's a member of the vetting committee and the chairman of the finance committee of the NPP. Madam Talata Sobari is the second vice chair of the NPP. And she's representing the national chairman on this particular committee. The more reason why she is part of the vetting committee. And Lord Oblite Kome, he's a former national organizer of the party. He's the chairman of the organizational committee of the NPP. The more reason why he's in here, and he's the director of operations at the Jubilee. So if you look at the names and individuals here, they all had various committees within the NPP. The structure of the NPP, you must be a chairperson or one committee or the other before you can be a part of the vetting committee. So that's the reason why you have the setup like this.
I see. So these 9 people are the ones who have been grilling.
All the 10 aspirants.
They have the power of grilling. There's someone from the City newsroom who has been watching the grilling from outside. This Charles In studio, quickly let's have a conversation about what you have been observing. So Charles Owusu Kubi, yes, Charles Owusu Kubi with the City Newsroom, a man who has been visiting the NPP headquarters. So, they didn't do it at the headquarters at Asylum.
No, they did at the former campaign office. That's what they called it. Kokomlemle. It used to be the former headquarters.
Okay, yeah.
The former headquarters before they moved to Asylum office. It was a former headquarters before it became the regional office. Before the Asylum Down was built, and then they made that place the campaign office.
Oh, I see. I see. So, talk to us about who and who have been coming, what days they came, what they've been talking about, Charles.
Well, Hassan, I mean, it's been a busy week at that campaign office for the NPP. Started on Monday, July 3. Alan came first. He was magnanimous.
You can't just say Alan. You have to give him time to do.
Alan Tremartin, former Trades and Industry Minister Alan Tremartin. He came first, and then Kojo Poku, and then Vice President Dr. Baumia.
So Alan, on Monday?
Yeah, this was on Monday. Alan, after his vetting, which took about 2 hours. Most of the processes has taken about 2 hours, except for Kennedy Japom. We'll come to him later. Okay. His took a little longer than 2 hours, just about 3 hours. Then he was tight-lipped on specifics about the vetting, and we'll learn that later on Tuesday. Boachejaku told us that they've been told by the vetting committee not to speak to the media. So he was tight-lipped on specifics about the vetting, but he spoke to us about his campaign.
That's Alan?
Yes, Alan. Okay. I mean, he says that this is not the first time he's going through vetting. He's like a veteran in this process. He was quite relaxed about it. This is like his fourth time going through vetting.
You captured that on camera, so I think our viewers should just hear what Alan Kojo Tremartin said to journalists at the NPP vetting committee after meeting that committee.
I've just had the opportunity of going through the vetting process for presidential aspirants for our party, and I had a good interaction with the committee. As you're all aware, I've been through this exercise on several other occasions, so I'm quite familiar and comfortable with this process.
He also revealed his campaign plans after the vetting process.
Tomorrow, I will start my constituency tours in Greater Accra. I have decided that I'll introduce an innovation into my constituency tours by clustering constituencies for the purpose of bringing our party executives together, not just within their own constituencies, but in a few other constituencies in a cluster. That will help energize the rank and file of our party. I mean, it's all about making sure that we work together as a party in our march towards victory 2024.
So that's Alan Kojo Tremartin speaking to journalists. Who else was there on Monday at the vetting?
Relatively unknown in this race. Kojo Poku, private businessman, he was there. He doesn't feel that the odds are stacked against him because he is relatively unknown, but he's upbeat about it. He actually told us that he got an applause from the vetting committee.
Really?
And it looks like that is something that didn't go down too well with the vetting committee.
So you didn't ask him that the money he's spending, or let me leave that. Let's watch Kojo Poku and see what he said as well.
Why would anybody lead their supporters along the way when they have now gone this far? I started this process last year, February, and with all the support I have across the nation, it shows that I am the one who the youth of this nation are looking forward to. I don't see anyhow any form that I'm going to look. The 5 that is going to be shortlisted, I am one of the first people that will come through the shortlist. Then from that, the November election, inshallah, I will most definitely win the election.
He spoke to the media about the proceedings following the meeting with the vetting committee.
Because like I said, it's a family matter and it's confidential. As you are aware, only me were allowed into the vetting. The conversation was smooth. I answered all the questions they asked to the best of my ability.
What communication did you get from the committee?
Cordial.
You were impressed?
Very impressed. But when you finish speaking and people are able to clap, for you, then it means they are impressed with what you said, you have told them. And after the end, I got a clapping.
What were the remarks from the committee?
I have done very well. Look, it's a message. I've always said that this contest is a contest of message. It's a contest of message. It's a contest of individuals basically being in a position to say that this is what the problems in the party is. This is the problem that is going around, and you have solutions for those problems. And I think I do have those.
All right, so Charles, that's Kojo Poku. Did he come with supporters? Because a lot of these aspirants come there with supporters, aides and the like. He came alone or he came with supporters?
No, he didn't come with many, just a few people. And I think he
like
shot
what,
himself.
Like 100?
Oh, no. I think he shot himself in the foot with some of the comments that he made, that his vetting took just about 1 hour and that he got an applause from the committee. Today when we met the committee, the spokesperson, Obi Amwan, he used that as an example when we asked him why they told the contestants not to speak to the media. He said, if you go out and you say that we clap for you, I mean, that is your own problem. So he used, and I think that didn't go down well with so he was the guy who came after Alan Chomantin. Then Dr. Baumia came, the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. I mean, it was, you could see security detail. I mean, the Vice President was there, about 50 police officers and military officers there at the NPP's campaign office, and it was evident that the Vice President had come. He didn't speak to us, and we were wondering why the Vice President, who is quite media friendly, didn't say anything. And so we understood that later during Tuesday's sessions.
Okay, so that was day one.
Yes, that was day one.
On Tuesday, who showed up?
So Wache Jako, the former energy minister, he came on Tuesday. Hayes also took just about 2 hours, and he refused to speak to us. And the reason he gave was that the committee had given instructions to them not to speak to the media, and that's why he didn't speak.
Wache Jako contested in 2007. He was part of the 17 aspirants. So this will be his second attempt trying to lead the party. In 2007, he had come from America. He was then the vice president of the Bank of New York or so, was speaking good English. Yeah. You know, everybody was all over him. Who is this gentleman?
When he went for the vetting as
he was
energy,
all over the place. And so in 2007, people saw him as, this guy could do well. But unfortunately, the numbers didn't show up well for him. So this will be his second attempt in coming. So after Chamantin, who else came? I mean,
after Wache Jako, the Kwabena Japan, former general secretary of the party.
He also contested in 2007. He was then press secretary to outgoing former President Kufuor. Yeah.
I mean, and after his vetting, he said it. He said this is not new to him. I mean, he's done it a couple of times. And he spoke to us about his campaign message. He's been campaigning on a new dawn policy.
That's what I see on his billboard.
Yes.
I think we should hear from the horse's own mouth.
We started Greater Accra, and the reception has been wonderful. Really, really good. We'll continue tomorrow in Central Region. Then we go to Eastern Region, Ashanti. We're doing of the regions, not necessarily finishing every region before moving to another region. It's amazing. The message is...
My advice to the National Executive, I've been a General Secretary myself, when you have an even-handed process and it produces a leader, it facilitates unity amongst us, and I think that as a political party, NPP, we have the numbers. If we are a cohesive unit, we are united, and we have a decent, fair process, and then the chances that we can really win in 2024 gets enhanced.
Mr. Japong also expressed confidence in his new dawn message.
I'm very confident. This country, a lot of people have resonated positively with my message of ushering in a new dawn, a new direction, a new dimension for this country. After 30 years, we have to take a critical look at ourselves, our understanding of public service, dedication, nationalism, patriotism. We need a new Ghana. We need to recalibrate our values, and get back to what is good, a collegial mentality, the public good. That is what politics is about. It's the welfare of society. So we need a new Ghanaian, all of you, not only we the politicians, everyone. The media has a big role to play.
So that's Kwabena Japan, former General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party. He was press secretary to former President Kufuor, speaking there at the party level. Before him was the president in the agri sector. He is a man on record in recent history to set up a whole market at the ministry. To say that Muka said Brodier Niho. I have brought, he said there's surplus food, and he's going to bring it from the hinterlands, from the farm gates, and Ghanaians come and to line and buy. Talk to me about Every Akutu, please.
Well, Every is an interesting character. He's made his encoding riches from cocoa and coffee. He's a big business when it comes to cocoa and coffee because where he's coming from. He has quite a number of farms across the country. And he says he has the support of 1 million farmers.
That's a lot.
At the parties who are all members of the NPP. And majority of them are NPP delegates.
Oh, then he's a 200,000.
And so 200,000 is small. And he's going to win hands down. Come November 4th, he will be the flag bearer of the NPP for the 2024 election.
I remember when he went for the submission of nomination, he didn't go with plenty of people. And when they asked him, he said, "Oh, Charlie, this is not."
He said he's not perturbed by the buzzing of people, large number of people coming for him. He's working underground, submarine campaigning. That's what he said.
Which day did he go? He went on which day, Charles?
This was yesterday.
So he went on Wednesday.
Yes.
But before then, we had Kwabena Japan, who was there on Tuesday. Yes. After Kwabena Japan, there was another Japan.
Yes, Kennedy Japan.
Okay.
I mean, he came with a crowd. Kennedy has the numbers. He has the numbers. He had the
Kennedy
numbers.
brought the numbers.
No, so he brought the numbers.
When he went to file, the numbers
yes,
too
the
showed.
numbers were there when he was filing. The numbers were there during the vetting. He didn't even get opportunity to speak to the media because the place was just choked with supporters.
Kennedy Japan, former Assin North Member of Parliament, now Assin Central Member of Parliament. He's very influential from the region and a man who speaks his mind on his own radio station, on his own TV station and other platforms. He's a man who you can describe as a Donald Trump.
A lot of NPP supporters or sympathizers identify with him. They believe that if there's anybody who speaks for them, for the NPP, it is Kennedy. Because when he mounts the various platforms, he talks about the grassroots, how to empower the grassroots, how to support them financially and the like. So a lot of these party grassroots members, party members who are at the base, identify with him. The more reason why when the polls always come up, he's positioned in a way that he's going to do well when it comes to the party's primaries. When he mounts the various platforms, what he tells them is that I am not in government. I am outside government. But a lot of people will say that, no, you are not outside. You are a board chair of Ghana Gas, which is a government institution. So when you mount a platform and you say you are not part of government, a lot of people have issues with when he says those things. But then the argument too is that he's not a minister. He's not a deputy minister. He's not a CEO. He's only an MP and a board chair. And so if he says he's not part of government, arguably you want to identify with him. And when you go to his house, Sanda, a lot of party peoples have lined up seeking one help or the other. And what I'm told is that when you come there with a problem, he will at least meet you halfway in terms of this particular challenge. And so a lot of people,
he runs a clinic in his house.
So a lot of people, which is the party people, identify with him. As to whether it will translate to numbers on the day of voting,